On this video, I want to deal with the music industry, or what I like to call the wicked music industry. Now, my main focus is going to be on the industry as a whole, but I'll use a few key people to bring out certain facts. I'm going to deal with Michael Jackson and what really happened to him. I'm going to deal with Beyonce and Rihanna and show you what they're really about. And on a smaller scale, I'll deal with some other artists as well. So let's start with Michael Jackson. I want to go back to the end of his life first and break down what really happened to Mike. We'll begin with a speech that he gave in London, where he deals with the music industry and his record label.
Let me just say this. The tradition of great performers and I really want you to hear what I have to say. The tradition of great performers from Sammy Davis Jr. to James Brown to Jackie Wilson. The story is usually the same though. These guys work really hard at their craft, but the story ends the same. They usually are broken, torn, and usually just sad. And the story is very sad in the end because the companies take advantage of them. They really do. And, being the artist that I am at Sony, I've generated several $1 billion for Sony. Several billion. And they really thought that my mind is always on music and dancing, and it usually is, but they never thought that this performer, myself, would outthink them.
Yeah!
So, we can't let them get away with what they're trying to do because now I'm a free agent.
Yeah.
I just owe Sony one more album. It's just a box set, really. I can do the box set and just give them any 2 songs. So I'm leaving Sony a free agent, owning half of Sony. So I own half of Sony's publishing, and I'm leaving them, and they're very angry at me because of it. But I just did good business, So, the way they get revenge is to try and destroy my album.
Okay, let me explain this. Basically, what Mike is saying is this. Under his contract, he only had to do one more album, and then he would be out of his contract with Sony, and he was going to leave Sony owning half the company. Now, Sony didn't like that. So when he made his album called Invincible, Sony didn't promote it. And they did everything they could do to make sure it didn't sell, as a way to get back at Mike for wanting to leave. Now you got to understand, Michael Jackson had a 30-year relationship with Sony. He made them a lot of money. He said, I generated several $1 billion. So Sony wasn't going to let Mike just walk away scot-free. They had to do something. All right, let's go back to the speech.
Thank you. I love Unbreakable. And Tommy Mottola is a devil.
See, during the end of his life, Michael Jackson started to speak out against the things that was going on in the music industry. But it was much more than him just trying to get out of a record contract. Mike was involved in something much bigger than that, and he was frustrated with the situation he was in. So out of frustration, he called Tommy Mottola a devil.
And Tommy Mottola is a devil.
Now, Tommy Mottola was the head of Sony Music at that time, and Michael Jackson and Tommy Mottola didn't get along at all because Mike knew that he was only being used by Tommy Mottola. Mike was tired of being a slave, and he wanted his freedom. Now, Michael's father, Joe Jackson, got Michael and his brothers into the music industry when they were young kids. But Michael was always the standout star, so the Illuminati came after him. They knew he would be the one to bring in the big money. So they told little Mike, everything he wanted to hear, and they promised him the whole world. All he had to do to get it was sign his life away and sell his soul to the devil. See, in order to reach superstardom on this earth, you gotta sell out. Why? Because the scriptures tell you that the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. That's why the Bible says, love not the world, neither the things in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Now, why does it say that? Because the people who rule this world are wicked. And if you want to live like they live, you have to become wicked and do what they tell you to do. This is nothing new. Satan tried to use this same trick on Christ. Let's read it. That's Matthew 4, 8 and 9. Verse 8. Again, the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. See, that's what the music industry is all about. They offer you the good life, fame, fortune, and everything you desire, but in return, you gotta sell them your soul. This is not make-believe. This stuff is really happening in the music industry. Let me show you what Kanye West said at one of his concerts.
I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Lisa came with a few toys like a Happy Meal. I'm spaced out, dog. I be on that moon talk. I wonder if God asked Mike how to moonwalk.
He said, I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Lisa came with a few toys like a Happy Meal. Then he made a reference to God talking to Michael Jackson. But let me replay that first part one more time so that you can hear him clearly say it again.
I sold my soul to the devil. I sold my soul to the devil.
Kanye West didn't just say that to be creative. He really sold his soul to the devil. You have to sell your soul to get to the level where he is. You got to do what they tell you to do. You got to act like they tell you to act. You got to dress like they tell you to dress because they own you. They become your God and you have to worship them. And when I say they and them, I'm talking about the Illuminati, the people who run the music industry, the people who run the whole entertainment industry for that matter. These people are Satan worshipers. They are directly connected to the devil, and by selling out to them, you automatically sell out to the devil. And that's why Michael Jackson called Tommy Mottola a devil.
And Tommy Mottola is a devil.
See, Michael Jackson grew up in the music industry, and he knew what it was all about. He sold his soul to the devil a long time ago. Now, most people will look at this picture and see a young boy making the OK sign with his hand. But this is not the OK sign. This is a satanic hand symbol that represents 666, the seal of Satan. The circle in the first finger is 1-6. The circle in the second finger is another 6. The circle in the last finger is another 6. So when you put them all together, you get 666. Like I said, Michael Jackson grew up in the music industry. He's been involved with the Illuminati since he was young. Now, if you don't believe this hand sign means anything, take a look at these other celebrities and see what they're doing in these pictures. Here you see Beyonce, a top-level witch, and we're going to deal with her next. But here you see Beyonce flashing the 666. Here's Drake, 666 over one eye. Neo, 666. Shakira, 666. Justin Timberlake, 666 over one eye. T-Pain, 666. Lil Wayne, 666 over one eye. Now look at this next one. This is Lady Gaga. Look at her right hand, 666. But notice the symbol that's in front of her. It's a pyramid with an eye inside of it. That eye is the eye of Horus. Now, Horus was one of the main gods that the Egyptians worshipped. That's why when you see this eye, you often see a pyramid with it, as you see here. This pyramid with the eye inside is the same symbol that Jay-Z always puts up. It's also the same symbol that's on the back of the dollar bill, because that's what this is all about, selling your soul to the devil just to make a dollar. Back in the day, Method Man said it best in the song.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar, dollar bill, yo. Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar, dollar bill, yo.
See, that's the mentality of these people. In the music industry, it's all about making money. Cash rules everything. All they think about is making money. These so-called celebrities are willing to do anything to be rich. Let's see what the scriptures say about that. Mark 8:36. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? And that's what they do. They sell their soul to gain the world. Let's look at one more. This is 1 Timothy 6:10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So you got people so caught up in chasing money because they love it so much that they destroyed themselves in the process. Yeah, now they got money, now they rich, but they serve Satan. And it also said they pierced themselves through with many sorrows, because you got people who got everything there is to have in the world, but they're miserable because they have no type of connection with the Most High. And that's part of what happened with Michael Jackson. He was spiritually lost. See, Mike knew all about the satanic movement in the music industry because he was a part of it, but he was getting tired of it. He wanted to get out of that part of the business a long time ago, but it ain't that easy once you get in. Mike even sung about being trapped in one of his songs called You Can't Win from the movie The Wiz. Listen closely to these lyrics.
Reiterate and syncopate.
You can't win, you can't make even, and you can't get out of the game. People keep saying things are gonna change, but they look just like they're staying the same. You get in, way over your head, and you only got yourself to blame. You can win, child. Can't break even, can't get out of the game.
Now in that song, he also said you can't break even, but he tried to leave Sony at least owning half of it.
So I'm leaving Sony a free agent, owning half of Sony.
Michael Jackson was frustrated and he got ahead of himself. He got cocky and he started to openly speak out against the Illuminati. He called Tommy Mottola a devil on national TV.
And Tommy Mottola is a devil.
Michael Jackson decided he was going to get out that deal no matter what. And the results of that decision were tragic.
Michael Jackson was murdered. That claim comes from his sister LaToya, seen here waving to fans from a car in Los Angeles. She says the King of Pop was effectively killed for his money. In interviews with Sunday newspapers, she says she believes her brother was surrounded by a manipulative entourage who fed him drugs and saw him as a cash cow. This so-called bad circle is said to have forced him to sign up for 50 concerts at London's O2 Arena, when in fact he only wanted to do 10. LaToya's also spoken of the moment when she found out about Michael Jackson's death. She was told to get to the UCLA Medical Center, but before she could, her mother was on the phone screaming, "He's dead."
Michael Jackson was murdered because he was no longer cooperating with the system. Now the Illuminati knew that Michael Jackson was the cash cow of the family, So they came to the Jackson family and made them an offer they couldn't refuse. They took the offer. The Jackson family, with the exception of Michael's mother and his sister LaToya, sacrificed Michael Jackson's life to Baphomet as a way to keep the money coming in. After all, Michael was worth more dead than he was alive. Here you see a chart of Michael Jackson's record sales from 2001 to 2009. Now, he was doing okay between 2001 and 2008. But after he died on June 25, 2009, Michael Jackson sold 31 million records worldwide in less than a year. That's unheard of. Oh, and remember I said that the Illuminati offered the Jackson family a deal they couldn't refuse? Well, Sony signed a deal after Michael Jackson died with his estate worth $250 million. Now combine that with the money from the 31 million albums sold, and you have a ridiculous amount of money being made. And guess who's getting all that money? You got it, the Jackson family. His family sacrificed him to Baphomet to get that money, and even after Mike died, Sony is still making money off of him through that deal. Now you understand why Mike went from looking like this to this. Mike was taking care of his whole family. He had people around him that was only using him. He had demons plaguing him. He had stress on a whole nother level. But that's what happens when you sell your soul. The scriptures say you reap what you sow. Now this demon on the screen is named Baphomet. He's the demon that these celebrities pray to and seek power from. He's the demon that's set up over the music industry. Celebrities actually do human sacrifices to this demon for power, fame, and riches. Now, if you don't believe what I'm saying, in your free time, get on the internet and do some research into the Illuminati and the death of Aaliyah, Kanye West's mother, Jennifer Hudson's family, Michael Jackson, and many, many others. All these people were sacrificed to Baphomet to further the career of other entertainers. Now, I know what the official news stories say, but ask the Most High for guidance and do your own research and see what you come up with. Now, the music industry is wicked because it was set up by Satan to put people into idol worship. Look at how they put it right in our faces. Now that was the American Idol intro. Let's see what the definition of an idol is. Idol, an image or other material object representing a deity, which is a god, to which religious worship is addressed. So an idol can be a person, a picture, or anything that's looked at as a god and worshipped. So when you say things like, he's my idol, or she's my idol, you're actually saying that person is your god. That's why they named the show American Idol. See, these celebrities are nothing but idols, being worshipped by people all around the world. Look at this picture of a Christian worship concert. Now look at this picture of a Jay-Z concert. What's the difference? Notice how they have their hands lifted up, giving praise to Jay-Z? It's no coincidence that he calls himself Hova, which is short for Jehovah, which is God's name in modern Hebrew. Jay-Z knows that he's being worshipped because he sold his soul to be in that seat. But almost everybody knows that Jay-Z is a Freemason Illuminati member. So I want to deal with his wife, Beyonce. Now, the same way that Michael Jackson was the standout star from the rest of his brothers, you had the same situation with Beyonce and Destiny's Child. Beyonce always overshadowed Kelly and Michelle. The Illuminati comes after the one with the most obvious talent in the group. They choose the person that is capable of influencing the most amount of people. Now, in the first part of this video, I made the statement that Beyonce was a top-level witch. So let's look at her and see why I said that. Remember when Beyonce used to be the innocent, squeaky clean church girl turned R&B singer? Well, those days are over. Beyonce is gone, and Sasha Fierce is here. And if you pay close attention, you would have seen the death of Beyonce and the birth of Sasha Fierce take place right in front of your eyes. Let me show you when and how it happened. Now, after Beyonce left Destiny's Child, her first solo video was called Crazy in Love. In this video, you see Beyonce trapped in a car. Now watch what happens to her.
Young Hov, y'all know when the flow is loco. Young B and the ROC. OG, big homie, the one.
Did you catch what happened? The innocent, squeaky clean Beyonce died inside that car. Her life ended and Sasha Fierce was born. Here's a quote from Beyonce out of the People magazine November 18th issue. Sasha Fierce was born when I did Crazy in Love. People, when they meet me, expect that all the time, but that person is strictly for the stage. Now notice she said that Sasha Fierce was born when she did Crazy in Love. And at the end of the quote, she said that person, referring to Sasha Fierce. So she's saying that Sasha Fierce is a person that was born. Now, through the grace of the Most High, we understand that that car explosion was symbolic of the death of Beyonce and the birth of Sasha Fierce. It's no coincidence that Jay-Z is the one who started the fire that took Beyonce's life, because Jay-Z is the one who brought Beyonce into the Illuminati. Now notice, the car exploded, Beyonce dies, and out comes Sasha Fierce. This video was a ritual showing the world that Beyonce was now initiated into the Illuminati. That's why you see her doing the Eye of Horus sign. Now Jay-Z and his crew call it the rock sign to deceive people, but this symbol is the Eye of Horus. Beyonce eventually married Jay-Z, and now you have the most powerful male rapper and the most powerful female R&B pop singer working together to help carry out the mission of the Illuminati against the public. And in return, they get more fame and more money. Beyonce's so-called alter ego Sasha Fierce is nothing but a demon that possesses her when she performs. She has become comfortable with that demon because it allows her to let go of her inhibitions and do the things that she wouldn't normally do. Beyonce is possessed. Let's hear her explain Sasha Fierce in her own words on the Oprah show.
Sasha Fierce.
Sasha Fierce.
Like when you're getting ready to go on stage and perform, does Sasha Fierce, when does she show up?
Usually when I hear the crowd, when I put on my stilettos, when like the moment right before when you're nervous and that other thing kind of takes over for you. And that other thing kind of takes over for you. And that other thing kind of takes over for you.
That other thing that takes over, that's called a demon. Here she is on Tyra's show talking about Sasha Fierce.
And you know what's so funny is I saw you turn into that trance thing. Like you lose your mind.
I do.
Like, I was like,
you know, it's really amazing. I can't describe it. It's just something that takes over me, and we named it Sasha. It's just something that takes over me, and we named it Sasha because it's like two different people.
She said it's like two different people, but it's not two different people. It's one person with two different spirits. You got Beyonce, and then you got that demon spirit, Sasha Fierce, that lives in her body. See, these are the things that's going on that most people have no clue about. The music industry is not what most people think it is. This demon Baphomet is set up over the music industry. Like I said earlier, these celebrities worship Baphomet, and they show you all the time that they worship him, but you just don't notice it. Take a close look at this picture of Baphomet. Now look at what Beyonce is wearing in this picture. Here you have Beyonce wearing a Baphomet suit. She is deep into the Illuminati and Satan worship. She is a demoness. What does she call herself?
I'm not a diva. I'm not a diva. I'm not a diva. I'm not a diva.
She calls herself a diva. Diva is a Latin word that means goddess, which proves that she's presenting herself as a god. Let's look at a scripture, Isaiah 47:8. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that saith in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. See, that's the attitude of these celebrities. They live carelessly because they have everything they want. So they don't have a need to trust in the Most High. They feel untouchable, like nothing can happen to them. Verse 9. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. See, the Most High is saying he's going to bring them all down off their pedestals because they're proud and they don't trust in him. Also, they're deceiving masses of people. They're using sorceries and enchantments by casting spells through their music and videos. Don't you know that the record executives get together and pray demonic prayers over the music before they release it to the public? They cast spells onto the music so that when you hear it, it influences you the way they want you to be influenced. That's a common practice in the music industry. They pray demonic prayers onto the music so that demons get on you when you listen to it. That's wicked. All right, let's go back to Isaiah 47 and read verse 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. See, Beyonce is trusting in her wickedness and in the wicked system she's involved in. She tries to hide and act like she's not a part of anything bad. She tries to present herself as a believer in the Most High, but yet, when she's on stage, she's half naked, gyrating, and bouncing all over the place as if nobody sees what she's doing. Let's read the last part of verse 10. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Now the scripture said that thine have said in thine heart, I am. Let's see what Beyonce's last album was called. She named it I Am. Now why did she name it I Am? Let's see. Exodus 3:14. And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am have sent me unto you. So just like her husband named himself Hova, which is a name of the Most High, Beyonce named her album I Am, which is another name of the Most High. She is saying that she is God. Now some of you might say that I'm reading too far into that, but you don't understand the way these people think. A lot of these celebrities are into ancient Babylonian teachings. They believe that they have attained God's status through their illuminated minds. Hence the name Illuminati, which means the enlightened ones. That's why the scripture said in Isaiah 47:10, thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Now another reason why Beyonce was chosen, besides her talent, is her beauty. The Illuminati through the media floods your mind with all these images of her, and then young girls and women want to dress and act just like her. Then you have young boys and men lusting after her. They use her voice and beauty as a form of witchcraft to seduce people and control them. But the scriptures warn us about that. Ecclesiasticus 9 verses 4 and 8. Verse 4. Use not much the company of a woman that is a singer, lest thou be taken with her attempts, meaning her temptations. Verse 8. Turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman, and look not upon another's beauty. For many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman. Verse 8 says, many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman. That's why you can't get caught up in the way these female celebrities look, because that's part of the witchcraft that they use to deceive you. A lot of these people have had nose jobs, lip jobs, butt jobs, breast jobs, hair extensions, fake eyelashes, and all types of stuff, all to create this perfect image, an idol for you to worship. Proverbs 6 and 25 says, lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. See, people get caught up in her voice and her looks, and they look up to her as if she's a great role model. But the truth is, she's a horrible role model. She acts like she's innocent, but the whole time she's leading people into devil worship. Now you might be saying that it's just a coincidence that she married Jay-Z. It's just a coincidence that she calls herself a diva. It's just a coincidence she was wearing that demonic suit. Well, let me show you something. Because Beyonce is not innocent. She knows exactly what she's doing. Everything she does is planned and well thought out. Take a good look at this picture. Now this robot suit is the outfit that Beyonce came out in at the 2007 BET Awards. Now when you look at this outfit, you might say she was being creative and it's just a robot suit. But remember, I told you that everything she does is planned and for a reason. Look at her suit again. Now look at this picture. Wow, look at that. The same robot, same pose, and everything. But notice what's on the back wall in this picture? It's a demonic upside down star, which is the same symbol as this star, the demonic goat head, which is just a representation of Baphomet. Like I said, the music industry is more than what you see on the surface. You got people that are just straight up worshiping Satan, and they're doing it right in front of our faces. This picture on the screen comes from a 1927 movie called Metropolis. I'll show you a piece of it. The part of the movie you're looking at is where a woman named Maria is kidnapped by a mad scientist. He then uses his machines to create an evil robotic version of Maria. She ends up becoming a performer in a nightclub where the scientist uses her to control the men of the city and manipulate the people. Whenever she starts to dance, the men go into a frenzy. They start to lust after her and fall into some type of demonic trance. The more she dances, the deeper they fall into the trance. She uses all types of dance moves to hypnotize these men until they're fully under her spell. They get so caught up in watching her that they don't realize what they're doing. They don't realize they're actually under a spell. How crazy is that? This is Maria in her robotic form. And this is Beyonce in the same suit. Now, do you still think it's a coincidence that she chose to wear this robotic suit? She is doing the same thing that the robot in the movie did. She's dancing around, mesmerizing and hypnotizing men. See, one of the biggest tricks that Beyonce uses is that she presents herself to the public in two different ways. One is this quiet, innocent, shy girl, and the other is this fierce, sexual, I can do anything woman, which leaves a big gray area in between for people to decide who she really is. The problem with that is this. Beyonce claims to be a follower of Christ, but you can't be a follower of Christ and act like Satan. You gotta be one or the other, either good or evil. Tyra Banks actually points out the same thing on her show. Watch this clip.
And it's funny because it's really unreal to see. Like what overtakes you, because it's like, you see her right now, she's like, hi everybody, something.